Welcome to Silicon Heartland Sessions, where we explore the people and ideas driving innovation, leadership, and technology across the Midwest and beyond. I'm your host, Sean Erickson, and in today's episode, From Curiosity to CEO, Rehgan Bleile's Journey into AI, we sit down with Rehgan Bleile, co-founder and CEO of Align AI. Rehgan shares how a fascination with data and systems thinking led her from industrial engineering at Ohio State to launching a company that helps enterprises manage their AI initiatives. It's a conversation about curiosity, courage, and the power of building something new. Before we get started, a quick thank you to our sponsors: Rackspace Technology, your trusted multi-cloud solutions partner; Varonis, protecting enterprise data where it lives, on-prem and in the cloud; Trace3, helping organizations innovate through advanced IT strategy and execution; and Sigma Computing, enabling business users to explore live data without code. Now, let's dive in. Maybe we could just start with maybe walking us through some of the key milestones in your journey as co-founder and CEO at Align AI. And, what would you consider your top career accomplishments that have defined your journey?
Yeah, usually I tell people now, this is more common than it used to be, that I've been in the AI space for almost a decade. And I say that now because I kind of have to, because I think it's important. But also, it's true. I got insanely fascinated by this space 10 years ago, a little over 10 years ago. And I started as an industrial systems engineer as a student at Ohio State. And I specialized in computer science and I stumbled across machine learning. And I thought, oh my God, you can build a crystal ball that will predict the future. How cool. And that's what got
Heck
me
yeah.
quite fascinated with the space. Um, and then, I've got a technical brain, so I went deep into how does this work? What tools are out there? What can I learn? And I went down these crazy YouTube rabbit holes for years. And at the time, it was kind of the big data boom, and the
Yeah.
first hype cycle of data science, and that was just really fun for me. And I consider that like the fun exploratory stage of my career. And I got into actually teaching and teaching data science courses. So I would travel all around the US to different colleges and teach introduction to data science courses in Python. And that was a lot of fun for me. I always say if you teach something, you got to know it at a level 10, because you have to be
Very
able to
true.
explain it at a level 1. And I loved that phase of my career. It was really, really fun and really open ended and not really like hyper focused on something, right? It was just what can I do? What's fun? What's out there? What can I try? And got landed a job at an ML ops company out of Chicago and headed to New York a ton. Worked out of New York for a number of years. Most of our customers were out there, and man, that was the first time I got to see the level of complexity at the large enterprise, especially
Right.
around a topic like machine learning.
Mhm.
So, super incredible milestone for me, just being able to observe a lot of that and being around the people that I was around at the time. And, actually going out and starting my own company was obviously one of the biggest milestones of my career.
No
um,
doubt.
and that story is just wild because I put my 2 weeks in on February 28th of 2020, and my last day of work was Friday the 13th in
Oh my
March of
gosh.
2020.
Talk about
And
an
it was,
ominous.
yeah,
That's
I
awesome.
was leaving the company for good, and everybody at the company was leaving the office for a
Right.
pandemic. And it was
Oh
the
my gosh.
craziest day ever. I remember every minute of that day. It was
And were you still
wild.
in New York at the time?
No, I was actually here in Columbus.
Okay.
I did a very short stint at a startup here after that other job that I was at, and then really wanted to get back to my core, like wanted to get back to what I loved, and so decided, okay, what better way to do that than start my own thing?
That is quite the out of the box thinking. There are not a lot of people in the world that would take that kind of a direction in their career, especially considering, your start at OSU, and taking that leap from. You can speak to this if you'd like to, but taking that leap from industrial engineering to data science and doing programming and then artificial intelligence. I have to imagine that a lot of what motivates you is your passion for new and emerging technologies. Is that accurate?
For sure. I think for me, the systems engineering degree is actually so underrated. And it's so wild because if you look at the curriculum for it, you get things like, Lean Six Sigma, right? Where we're trying to optimize systems. You get things like operations research, linear and nonlinear programming. You get
Mm-hmm.
change management courses. And you can even get into like manufacturing ergonomics, that kind of side of it too. But there's a really heavy emphasis on how do you create change? How do you optimize a system? And really, that's what machine learning is. It's an objective function that you're optimizing towards. And
Right.
when you think of things holistically, it's not too far of a leap. And now the computer science specialization definitely helped because data science at least was and mostly still is pretty CS heavy. But um,
Right.
yeah, I think it was mainly the fascination of how does this work? This is very complicated. How does this work? And just wanting to pursue that endlessly.
Yeah. Yeah. No kidding. And the field of AI and machine learning is so fast moving. Is that also a part of the appeal to you?
Yes, it is. I mean, it has been in the last 2 years, that's for sure. um, if you look at the last 60 years, that can seem kind of like it's not super fast moving, right? We
Hmm.
go from the very first language model that was developed about 60 years ago, Eliza, and then we head to where we're at today. That doesn't feel like fast, but when you look at the last 2 years, it feels like warp speed. I
Yeah.
think for me, it wasn't moving super fast in the beginning. And so I could take my time kind of learning a lot of the intricacies of the system. It was the complexity that was fascinating to me. And now it's moving very fast. And I honestly
Hmm.
feel like if I didn't have that level of foundation on the complexity, I would not be able to really keep up
Right.
to where things are at today. So yeah, I mean, I do enjoy the speed. I do have a little bit of an adrenaline addiction.
Excellent.
But I think the foundation and complexity was what was most appealing originally.
Right. That was Rehgan Bleile sharing how curiosity and persistence shaped her journey from engineer to AI entrepreneur. If you enjoyed today's episode, please follow Silicon Heartland Sessions wherever you listen to podcasts. And don't forget to subscribe, share, and leave a review. Your feedback helps us grow this community of innovators and leaders. And once again, thank you to our sponsors for making this series possible: Rackspace Technology, Varonis, Trace3, and Sigma Computing. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time on Silicon Heartland Sessions.